Thank you for joining us today. It is the Deadly Duo here, and we're coming with you with another episode of Recasting the Classics with Caleb and Leon. And today's Caleb's pick, and we are actually going to be bold enough to try and recast the classic that is Bloodsport. Welcome, Caleb.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited for this one.
Me too. I am really excited that you picked this one out. And what motivated you to pick Bloodsport for number two after Enter the Dragon?
Um, Bloodsport is it's a special one for me. I know, like you and Jason and I, like we always talk about Van Damme's best movies and stuff like that, and I'm one of the few, I guess, out there in the world that doesn't prefer Kickboxer over Bloodsport. I know that's probably sacrilege to a lot of people, but I'm a Bloodsport guy, and when I was growing up, I loved that movie. I loved watching it. I love movies that have a tournament setting. So this was just what's the word? This was just really easy for me. This movie really takes the cake, and it's got a really huge diverse cast with lots of different martial artists, and you see all kinds of different styles. Um, even if a lot of those like styles, like considering when the time the movie was made, so some of the styles may not look that obvious and stuff like that. If they ever like did remake it, I would like to be there to be like a little more, what's the word, specificity. I don't know how you say, like maybe I actually showcase more styles instead of making the fight choreography look a little more generic, or a little less generic rather. But yeah, this is just a big one for me. So yeah, I really wanted to do this one. Plus, there's been talk. I'm sure you know. There's been talk for several years about them doing a Bloodsport remake with Van Damme himself being involved in some capacity. I'm not sure what that was exactly, but of course, that hasn't happened yet. They have been remaking, Kickboxer, and they're still supposed to be making another one of those movies in the the remake like trilogy they're doing, and uh, still haven't done Bloodsport. I'd kind of like to see a remake of that, but at the same time, I don't really know. I'm a little worried where they would probably take it because I don't want it to be just generic mixed martial arts movie or anything like that, and I feel like that's probably the path they would take. So yeah.
Yeah, I can see why you would think that. But this Bloodsport, I guess it set the template, really, didn't it, for the tournament martial art film, and 3 or 4 films that we had after it. They all tried to add something a little extra or a little different, but perhaps none of them quite made it to the dizzy heights of Bloodsport, regardless of what I, Jason, or anybody else thinks. With our particular taste. I think Bloodsport is the iconic tournament film and kind of set the bar up here, and all the others try to reach it. So with Van Damme going back to it, it's kind of hallowed ground for him, really, isn't it? I
Hmm.
know he, I know he did with Kickboxer, but Bloodsport stands by itself, and it would be interesting to see what they would do. And for anybody watching today, Caleb and I, we have our own ideas what we would do. Not that we'd make the best movie makers ever, but we are huge fans of these genres, and we have our opinions, and we'd like to share them with you to get your, creative juices going, so that all you guys think about this too, and perhaps you could comment and give us some of your ideas because I reckon everybody out there will have some really good ideas, and they're probably going to think of things that we don't think. So our purpose here is starting the conversation and having a little bit of fun with it, and hopefully everybody out there will have fun with us too and enjoy this one. And yep, today we're gonna recast Bloodsport, and Caleb has kindly supplied the list of cast members, and we both agreed upon it. We drew a line this time because we didn't want it to be too much, so we left out the young Frank Dux and the younger characters and some of the side cast. But I think what we got is the nitty gritty, the characters that people remember, gel with, and will be at the forefront of the mind. So, would you like me to start off with our first in the list, Caleb? And then, as I always say, we can save the best for last, and you can come up straight after me. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's good. Let's do it.
Okay. So the first one we got is Rawlins, and originally we had Forrest Whitaker, who would have known back then he'd turn into such a magnificent actor. You know, get such fantastic parts. I mean, he's been in some really high profile films, and with that in mind, I thought, well, you're gonna want an actor that's is going to be able to stand up in big films. And I kind of racked my brains a little bit. I was back and forth, and I finally settled on an actor that I think, yeah, he's been in big films, but is he a big name yet? I'm not 100% sure because I have seen him in adverts and things, but I couldn't name a bunch of movies that he's been in other than the most recent Star Wars ones, and I've gone with John Boyega.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't. I
Yeah.
wish I had thought of that one because I like that. He's a really good actor, and he looks the part too. I mean, I could see him in that role. Yeah, that's a good one.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I thought he might be an interesting choice. You know, he's got a little spice to him, a bit like Forrest Whitaker. And yeah, maybe. But who do you have, Caleb? Who is your Rollins for your remake?
Yeah, so Rollins for me, I actually had an idea for like what I wanted to do with both Rollins and Helmer, his partner in the film. So in the original Bloodsport, I mean, I this is just kind of this was just what I took away from both of these characters. I don't know if you felt the same way or if anybody else out there felt the
Mhm.
same way, but personally, you know, whenever you see Helmer and Rollins in the movie, obviously Helmer is he is the you know the he's very by the book. He's also like very polite to people, and he's older. Clearly, he's been doing this for many years. The kind of thing. He's like the veteran of the duo. And then Forrest Whitaker's Rollins, on the other hand, he's like the young hothead type thing. At least that's kind of how it seemed
Yeah.
whenever they would interact off of each other. And so whenever I was thinking about that, I thought it'd be kind of interesting maybe if we did a little bit of role reversal. So I thought it would be interesting if, you know, Helmer was the younger one, but also still kind of by the book. But then we
Right.
make
Yeah.
But then make Rollins. He's the older of the two, but he is also still kind of a hothead. You know, we do see that sometimes. Like there are some like you know police type films out there where the older cop is still kind of the hothead because he's been doing it for so long and he kind of knows the game, that sort of thing. And
Makes
so I just
sense.
thought, yeah, I thought a little bit of role reversal would be kind of interesting here. So for Rollins, I actually went with Denzel Washington.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I mean, class act.
Hmm.
Denzel, yeah, no, that would be great, wouldn't it, if they could get Denzel? I mean, wow. I don't think I've ever seen Denzel in a bad movie. I know some people are going to shout
Hmm.
at me about like virtuosity, and I'm going to go, no, but it was good. Um,
Yeah, he
but yeah,
kicks ass
that
too.
is,
Like in the Equalizer movies and all that. He's yeah.
yeah,
I think this would be interesting for him.
yeah. You would make it would add an edge to them acting, actively chasing down Frank Dux because there's somebody that could catch him and potentially bring him back. So
Yeah,
yeah, I like that. So we got to see how our helmets tie in here because we had Norman Burton originally, and like you said, he was very polite and he seemed to be very grounded in the role, and I like that. But in my mind, I would like a little bit more spice. So what you were saying about the reversing the roles a little bit, I would kind of like two hotheads and an older, really grumpy one that is calling the shots. So the actor I thought of, he's been in a program that you pointed me towards, actually, which was Reacher. Yeah. And he's also been in Tulsa King recently with Sylvester Stallone, and I absolutely loved him in that. And he's called Dominic Lombardozzi, and he's the one that
yeah,
plays the New York cop in Reacher. Yeah, the bald guy,
yeah.
really
It's a
grumpy, quite
yeah.
stocky, and hmm.
Yeah, Guy Russo was the character name in that. So yeah, he was great in season two of Reacher. He was also in Daredevil, the original Netflix Daredevil. He played
All
Wilson
right.
Fisk's father, like in flashbacks. He's an excellent actor.
He's superb, isn't he? And I think he would make me laugh trying to chase him down, the Frank Dux character. I
Yeah,
could just see him like if he doesn't mind the joke, pulling his hair out. I mean, I don't mind it, so he shouldn't mind it. But yeah, I would like to see him paired off with John Boyega for me. I think the two of them could work well together, but remains to be seen. I want to know though, who have you got opposite Denzel as Helmer?
Yeah, for Helmer, once again, I did a little bit of role reversal here. Helmer's character for me is still a very very grounded, polite by the book guy, but I
Hmm.
also wanted somebody younger.
Hmm.
So I went with Joel Edgerton, who of course
Oh
was
yes,
he was Tom Hardy's co-star in the mixed
Warrior.
martial arts film Warrior, which was great. Joel Edgerton is also shown to be a very good filmmaker as well, as far as directing
Hmm.
goes and everything. So yeah, I don't know. Whenever I was trying to think of who to pair up with Denzel Washington, I don't know. I just pictured him and Joel Edgerton, side by side with the suits and everything. So
Wow,
yeah,
yeah,
I think he would fit the role pretty well.
that's pretty good. That's two guys I wouldn't want after me.
Yeah,
It'd be a bit of a handful to get away from. Okay, so now we're going to go on to Victor Lin's character. Victor Lin was played by Ken Su, and he was quite funny, wasn't he? He was
yeah,
quirky, and he definitely brought something to Bloodsport. He brought an element of humor, an element of fun, and I think with all the proceedings that sometimes get a little bit serious, that having him there, being the way he is, being as quirky as he is, and being that character, I thought I don't want to lose that. I thought if I'm going to remake it, I don't want to take a serious actor and shove him in there and lose that bit of humor and quirkiness. I feel like it's a bit of a reprieve at points, and possibly in a remake, which would get serious. Maybe you'd probably need that as much, if not more than ever. So I was racking my brains thinking of a lot of Hong Kong actors that have made me laugh, and then I came up with Alan Young. And this guy was in The Sparring Partner, which was very serious. But I did see him in one of Cine Asia's releases called Over My Dead Body. And I've seen him in a few things since. And he really does have that sort of unusual look to him, a little bit like Ken Su, a little bit goofy, but also, funny. He's got that funny charisma there. And I thought, yeah, I could see Alan Young playing Victor then. How about your choice, Caleb? Who's your Victor?
yeah. Alan Young. I'm actually not very familiar with him. I'll have to check out some of his filmography. Um, Yeah, so for Victor Lynn, for me, I do want to point out real quick that whenever I always thought this was kind of funny whenever I watch Bloodsport, and our two of our main guys, Ray Jackson, Frank Dukes, they're going to the hotel, and the guy at the front desk is saying, Mister Lynn wants to talk to them after they check into their rooms, and and Ray Jackson's like, who the hell is Mister Lynn? And then and then we just see him. He's like, like you said, he's like very quirky looking, like kind of
Yeah.
dorky looking, and he's like really short. And he's like, oh, I'm Lynn. So yeah, I always thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, for me, for Victor Lynn, I had a bit of a hard time with this one, but I'm happy with who I went with. I actually went with a younger actor by the name of Ronnie Chang, who some people may know as one of the Old Spice guys. The key to great skin is exfoliating and moisturizing. Old Spice gives me both. So, and he was also in Shang Chi with
All
Simu
right.
Liu, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for those who don't know, he played the guy who kind of like ran the underground fight club in Kowloon. It's a smaller role for him, and of course, again, he's doing a lot of Old Spice commercials and stuff like that. I think he's funny, and I could just see him. I could see him in this role. So yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna have to look him up because I'm not familiar with him myself. But from
yeah.
what you say, sounds like a good choice for sure. And then we got an
He was
interesting
also
one coming.
sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. He was
No.
also in he's in a TV show. I think it's on Disney Plus, or maybe it's on Hulu because I've got both, so which one the show is originally from. But he was in a show. I think it was called like interior Chinatown or exterior Chinatown, something like that. It's supposed to be kind of like, I think it's supposed to be kind of like a crime type TV show that he's on. I'm sorry, I wish I could remember the name, but he's in that show. It's fairly new too. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I don't. We don't have Hulu over here, and I haven't got Disney anyway. So, but I
Yeah.
will look up to it. I will have a look for that definitely and check that out, and be interesting to see what the feedback is, what people think of these choices. And then we got Janice Kent next. It was played by Leah Ayres. I always thought, well, when I was younger, I thought she was like a really sort of beautiful blonde playing the reporter, and yeah, she made an impression. Like I never kind of forgot her face, and
Hmm.
I liked her in that role. She was kind of warm, wasn't she, and very womanly, and she made a really good love interest for Van Damme, even though it's kind of a small part, but
Hmm.
essential too because he's got some motivation there with having her in the film as well. I thought I'd like to see that role expanded a little bit and built upon. So I thought I'd need somebody that is like a good actress, but also has that same warmth, a sort of similar look, And I thought, right, okay, who's young? Who brings those qualities for me to the screen that I think could, expand the role, make it really something special and something that everybody could enjoy. And I thought Sydney Sweeney. I thought I could see her as that role. And
Yeah.
I was quite pleased with myself when I came up with that because, yeah, I did struggle on that one. That took me ages actually. And when I eventually come up with her, I was very happy. I imagine to be a lot of young gentlemen would be happy if she was in the role. Um, but how are you going to please the audience, Caleb? Who are you going to put in the role of Janice Kent?
Yeah, this was actually one of the tougher ones. Like there were two characters that I had a really hard time choosing new
Mm,
actors for, and Janice was one of them.
it's tricky.
Yeah, much like you, I would like them to, if they ever did remake that, I would like them to give that character a little more to do, instead of, I mean, she in the original film, she's of course trying to get a story on the Kumite and stuff like that, but we don't really see her do a whole lot as far as like getting that story goes. Like we do see her talk to a couple of fighters at the beginning of the movie. She tries to get some answers out of Van Damme's character, and she even goes undercover at one point. Dresses up very pretty, sneaks in with one of the gamblers. But that was pretty much
Mm,
it.
mm,
And of course, she does kind of or not break the ulcer. I guess she does kind of go to the police, at the towards the end, and just kind of tell them everything. But I would like somebody to an actress that would maybe make the role a little more tense, and maybe give her some scenes where she's trying to like really trying to get some answers on the Kumite and stuff like that,
mm,
and maybe I wouldn't say fight herself, but maybe almost get caught here and there, that sort of thing. Really try to kind of keep the audience on the edge of their seats in certain scenes.
mm.
But I went with I hope I pronounced her last name correctly, but I went with Amanda Seyfried. Seyfried. I don't. I'm not
Yes,
sure I
yeah,
say it, but
yeah. I know what you
yeah,
mean. Yep, she's good. Yeah, I
yeah,
like her.
she's lovely, great actress. I would really like to see her in something like that. So yeah, that was a tough one, but I settled on her.
What a lot of people don't know is that Mamma Mia is actually Caleb's most favorite film of all time for
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan singing.
Oh yeah. I watch anything with Pierce Brosnan. So
Yeah. No, that's a good choice, actually. She is a very talented actress. I remember, I can't remember what streaming service it was on, but we saw her in a film that was a biopic of an adult movie star called Lovelace. And we
yeah.
thought, oh, let's see her in something different. We watched that, and she had the dramatic chops. I mean, it's not everybody's film of
Hmm.
choice. I don't think I'd ever watch it again myself. It's not really my thing. But
Yeah.
from everything I've seen her in, yeah, I think she's a good choice. Amanda Seyfried, yeah, absolutely dynamic choice actually. And again, I think all the young gentlemen out there will be very happy. Anybody that's watched her in Ted too, because she's a lot of fun in that. I love those Ted
Yeah.
movies. Okay, next up, we got an important role. We need the instructor, who is Senzo Tanaka, and he is played by the ever reliable Roy Chow. I loved Roy Chow in the original. I love him when he turns up in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom as Lao Che. I love him when he's in Right and Wrongs with June Bu. What Game of Death when he turns up. Whatever Roy Chow is, he makes you very happy. So you got to have somebody that's going to give you that same feelings. An actor that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, that can pull off the older sensei. And I was really thinking about Hong Kong actors that I've watched for a long time and that have had roles where they've been in like a senior position. And I thought, well, this guy hasn't been in a senior position a lot until recently. And then I thought about Twilight of the Warriors, and I thought, you know what? Kenny Wong in that film, transplant him from that film and put him into Bloodsport, but as Senzo Tanaka instead. You know, a nice guy. And he was a bit abrasive, I thought, in Twilight of the Warriors, but still good.
Mm.
And I thought, yeah, I thought he could do the Roy Chow role. I thought, yeah, Kenny Wong, Shaz and I both really love him. And I think he would make a good sensei, whether I'm wrong or right. Jury's out on that, but I would like to see it. And if I was given my way, that would be my man. Who would be your man for that role, Caleb?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like Kenny Wong for that role too. Personally, for me, this was a really easy choice for me, and it may be an obvious one to everybody else. But I went with Hiroyuki Sanada as Senzo Tanaka. It just it I don't know. It was
Yeah,
just for me. It was just perfect. I didn't even have to think about it. It was just
yeah,
there, you know.
that's a
And
perfect fit. Yeah.
yeah, he's Hiroyuki Sanada is obviously very capable martial artist. He's also very tense. You know, whenever he's like
Hmm.
playing a serious role, he brings his A game every time. So yeah, I just and plus like whoever the guy I chose for Frank Dukes for Van Damme's character, I also just kind of saw these two interacting off of each other as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, I couldn't think of anybody better than Hiroyuki Sanada.
I don't want to do this now. I'm cheesed off. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Such an obvious choice. That was like a slap across the face. I'm like, oh yeah,
That's all right. Don't beat yourself
well
up.
done, well done. That was a really good one. I think that's a clear winner there, Hiroyuki Sanada. I mean, he's such a fantastic actor, and it's not just his martial arts, is it? You've seen in films like Mr. Holmes or
Yeah.
the Railway Man. Is it the Railway Man or the one with Colin Firth? But
Uh,
whatever he's been in, he's been so good,
yeah.
and yeah, he'd definitely bring the acting element, wouldn't he, as well? Martial arts, easy. We know he's got that in the bag. I mean, and it's nice seeing all these new releases with him in, isn't it? I've just actually ordered the Legend of the Eight Samurai, so I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that with him and Sonny Shiba. That'd be good fun. And yeah, he definitely would make a good Senzo. Man, I'd like to see that. I definitely would like to see that. This is going to be interesting, actually. I kind of bet myself that we'd have come up with the same Ray Jackson. I've got it in my head that we're going to come up with the same guy. I could be wrong, but I've just thought, I bet Caleb picks this guy. I could be wrong. Originally, we had Donald Gibb, and Donald Gibb was a lot of fun, right
Hmm.
alongside Van Damme. I think a lot of us would have watched that film, and we would have been huge Donald Gibb fans afterwards because Jackson was just like, he was so huge, wasn't he? Right from
Hmm.
losing at Karate Champ to almost winning the Kumite and just basically throwing it away by showboating. And I think you need something that's big, that's convincing, that is louder than life. Somebody that has that kind of look, but perhaps a bit more acting chops. Not to be rude to Donald Gibb, but I think we're thinking more at market here for like a remake because you want to make a new audience take it seriously. And I thought, oh God, who could do this? And I thought, I know it is. I thought, I could be wrong, but I think a few people will see this. David Harbour.
Oh, I did not go with him, but that's a good one. I like that.
Okay, cool. And then you can end my misery because I've been trying to think the last week or two who you would have picked. So what is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, for me, obviously Ray Jackson in the original was a big guy, had a big personality, very outgoing and stuff like that. Um, and for me, really the only kind of person I could think of in this role was a professional wrestler. And
Hmm.
everybody out there who doesn't know, I'm a huge wrestling fan, big professional wrestling fan. I've been watching it on and off ever since I was 11 years old. Um, but for this one, I just saw this guy in the role. So for WWE fans out there, hopefully you guys will appreciate this one. But I went with a guy by the name of Adam Shear, who is better known in WWE as Braun Strowman. So yeah, he's a big guy. I cannot remember how tall he is exactly. Maybe 6'8", 6'10". I don't know. He's a big guy, but
Wow.
yeah, but and you know, and the kind of part he plays in, you know, in professional wrestling is very is kind of like Ray Jackson. You know, he's very big and loud and always just kind of like causing chaos and stuff like that, and just running people over literally. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought like for a character like Ray Jackson, I had to go with a pro wrestler, and I just thought Braun Strowman was a good pick for that one.
Well, that does sound like a good pick because a wrestler would definitely embody all those characteristics that Ray Jackson has,
Hmm.
and he would certainly bring that kind of color, which would be nice not to lose that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one up because I'm not so familiar with wrestling. So I will be looking that up afterwards. I'm quite excited next because obviously we're moving on to the final two now, and Bolo Younger's Chong Lai. I mean, it's probably his second most iconic role, isn't it? After the film that gave
Yeah.
him his name, everybody thinks of Bolo versus Van Damme in Bloodsport, one of the biggest fight scenes of the '80s, I dare say. And it's like, who do I go with? And I thought, well, I'm not going to go with Bolo's son. I did that on the last one. And I thought that was a bit predictable. And I thought like I was caught with my pants down when I pulled that name out of the bag. So I thought, think about this a little bit more. And I was, I came up with this character or this actor, and I thought about it, and I couldn't match it to my Frank Dux. And I'm like, for God's sake, it doesn't work this way round. And I was going on and on and on, and I was like, I definitely want this actor as Bolo. And Shaz was like, well, if you're going to have him as Bolo, why don't you have beep 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 as Frank Dux? And I'm like, oh my god, thank you, hun. That's genius. So if Shaz hadn't have stepped in and given me my Frank Dux, so I cheated because Shaz came up with it for me because I had a different actor originally and it just didn't work opposite my Bolo, then I think I'd have been stuffed. So have you seen the Netflix program Bloodhounds?
I have not. I know about it, and I've been meaning to watch it, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I haven't watched it, but yeah, I know a little bit about it.
Oh man, that's so good. That is so good. Yeah. Well, in the first episode, I think it grabbed most people because basically it's these loan sharks and the fiddling people, so they're collecting all the money and the property and basically screwing them. Yeah. And this lad who is a boxer, there's a couple of boxers in it, young lads. Like he races back home and they're putting the fright onto his mum in a restaurant, like, and starting to mess it up. I mean, he gets there and these like hoodlums like stop him and say, "Hey, you can't come in," sort of thing. He looks at them, he sees his mum scream, and he's like, "Right," and he just starts knocking out all these like mobsters one after the other, like because he's like serious business. And
Hmm.
when he gets inside and he gets all this guy that's threatening his mum basically, then all of a sudden, the main mobster with his henchman comes in, and you look at this henchman, and he's got this like hat on, just like a sun hat, like, and his head's down, and he's really big and imposing, and you're thinking, oh shit, like, and the throw down there, even though this boxer's like really good, and it's already been established in the beginning of the program, he gets the crap beaten out of him and you're thinking like for the rest of the series, how are they going to deal with this dude? I mean, he takes everything he's throwing at him, and he just keeps coming at him. And the actor is called Taewon Seok, and he's a beast. He is a beast, but there are bigger actors, and that was my problem. So
Hmm.
it will make sense when we have my Frank Dux, but for Bolo, Taewon Seok, and if anybody hasn't seen Bloodhounds on Netflix, get your ass onto it. because that program is incredible. I guarantee by the end of episode 1, you'll be sold. I was really pleased with that, and you'll know why when you see the fit, especially when you look them both up online. But you really surprised me with your Bolo pick last time for Enter the Dragon. So, who is replacing Bolo this time, Caleb? Is it the same as last time, or have you got somebody different?
No, I got somebody else. I also didn't want to make the I didn't want to make the same call that we did in Enter the Dragon. So
Mm.
yeah, for Bolo Chong Li, I this was another one. This was the other actor that I had a really hard time choosing
Mm.
somebody for. Um, but what's funny now is that we actually both went with Korean actors here. So for
Oh,
for Chong Li, I went with Ma Dong Suk, also known as Don Lee. Everybody who knows him, of course, knows Train to Busan, The Gangster,
yeah.
the Cop, the Devil. What else has he been in? The Outlaws and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Unstoppable. He's he's just he's really stocky guy. He's very imposing. He's very good actor. He's got a great presence about him, and this was also kind of another thing. Whenever I picked my guy for Van Damme, this was kind of the other thing. The same thing with me. Like whenever I picked Van Damme, I was like, okay, I think this guy would work right here.
Hmm.
So yeah, I had to go with Monong Sock for this one.
That's a great choice. I did have him at one point, but I couldn't find my Van Damme opposite him. I think no, he's just going to slap the shit out of him. He's going to slap the shit out of him as well. Yeah, really great actor. I just watched that Badland Hunters with him actually. Yeah,
Hmm.
it was okay. I didn't mind it. You probably saw that on my letterbox, maybe. But yeah, what a great actor. I'm really curious as to your replacement for Van Damme, Frank Dux. Okay, so I'm going to say this name now, and you're probably not going to know who it is, yeah? So I'm just going to come straight out with it. Emilio Sacrea.
I do not know who that is. Sorry.
Right. So when Shaz said it to me, I'm like, who the hell's... Then she said, do you remember we watched that 60 Minutes, that German M&A film? Oh, it was the main lad in that, in 60 Minutes, yeah? And basically in that film, he's got to go and have this MMA fight, but it's on the same day as his daughter's birthday. When he gets there, his ex is calling up, and because it keeps getting delayed, and then he goes, and so if you don't turn up in the next like couple of hours, then I'm taking custody away from you, and you won't be able to see your daughter. So he basically
Mm,
turns around and legs it out of the MMA fight. But what he doesn't know is that they're going to throw the fight. It was fixed, all these bets on it, yeah, for the guys fighting to take a dive. So they're going to lose like a massive amount of money. So they send everybody after him to try and bring him back for the fight. And
wow.
Emilio in this, yeah, he's got like you say some MMA style martial arts. He does have a good look to him. He's about a similar age to Sydney Sweeney. It's a little bit older than her, so I thought the romance will work well. He's not as big as Taewon Seok, but he is quite cut like Van Damme used to be back then, and he has that youthful sort of energy. Now, I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know if he does speak English or not. But whether they have it subtitled for his speech segments, or he learns some English, or he does speak English, I don't know. But as a Frank Dux character, whether they would have to change the name if he didn't have, I don't know. But seeing him in my head against Tae Wong Seok and having Kenny Wong as his teacher and whatnot, I thought, yeah, I kind of like this. It feels like it all gels for my own personal interpretation of what Bloodsport would be. Um, so I'm quite happy with my list overall. Guys watching this, if it's good, give us a thumbs up. If well, no, that's for the video, but in the comments, let us know if you think it's a good list. And now I'm going to hand over to Caleb because I know he's going to have a great Frank Dux. And take us home, Caleb. Give us who it should really be.
Yeah. So for me, I had like a couple of other people in mind for Frank Dukes. You know, I was thinking, you know, maybe someone like Scott Adkins or something like that,
Hmm.
because you know him and Van Damme, like they almost kind of go hand in hand. You know, I think both
Hmm.
like style wise and you know and looks sort of very similar. You know, I think you could easily just plop you know Scott Adkins in any of Van Damme's old roles, but
Yeah.
yeah, but for me, I wanted somebody else. I didn't want to go with Scott because I felt that was maybe too obvious of a choice. Um, so for me, I went with Tom Hardy as Frank Dukes.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
Tom Hardy. He is an incredible actor and is also proven, you know, to be a capable martial artist. The guy has a lot of experience, you know, in jujitsu and kickboxing. I mean, the guy won a jujitsu tournament a couple of years ago, and nobody even really knew that he had won it because he used his birth name, like
Oh,
whenever he
right.
entered, and so a lot of people didn't even realize that you know what was going on right there. But he is,
Yeah.
yeah, he's very capable and you know we've seen him fight you know in movies like Warrior, Dark Knight Rises. We've got Havoc coming up really soon, finally. So yeah, I just you know again Tom Hardy. I just saw it whenever I put him for this role, you know, and then I was thinking for Chong Li's character, I thought Ma Dong Suk, and then I was like, oh yeah, I can totally see these two like just squaring off like right there. Um,
Mm.
they you know and they may kind of have like a similar build to each other and everything, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of times people, you know, whenever they do a movie like this, they want the character like the two leads, the hero and the villain, they want them to be kind of like on different levels, you know, like maybe the hero is smaller, unassuming, bad villain is, you know, much bigger and everything like that. But you know, I I kind of wanted to shake it up a little bit and go with two guys that look kind of neck and neck, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Once again, I had to go with Tom Hardy for this one.
I kind of like that. I like the idea of watching Tom Hardy fighting against Don Lee. Yeah, that would be interesting. Gets the hairs on my neck going a little bit. That actually, yeah, that'd be quite good. Okay,
Yeah,
so I have really enjoyed this recasting the classics, Caleb. I think we've been a little bit more tidy this time round. I think we've like got it out at a much better pace,
yeah,
and this is hopefully the way we can do it going forward. You know, get in, get out, and let everybody else have their say. But yeah, I really enjoyed casting the classics number two, Bloodsport. You happy with all your choices? I'm happy with them. I'm happy with yours and mine.
yeah. It really makes me want to see this movie. You know, if they ever like
Yeah,
redid people, it makes me want to see this like really badly. So yeah, this was a
I'd
lot
be
of
happy.
fun.
Yeah, I would be happy. Some films I don't want to see remade, but this one, you know, sometimes they say take a film that is good in concept and maybe not as good in execution and remake that. And though Bloodsport was, you know, it was well made, but it was like a canon film, wasn't it? So
Yeah,
you didn't have the best of everything in there with canon. It was like your budget line back in the 80s. You get great,
yeah,
fun, iconic films, even, but it wasn't like a top like Hollywood production. And
yeah.
I
It's
think,
definitely
yeah, a bit of
sorry. Go ahead.
TLC. No, that's okay. Yeah, I just think a bit of
Yeah.
TLC, get it
Hmm.
just right. Mm,
Yeah, it's definitely Bloodsport was definitely a product of its time. You know, I
mm,
personally I would like to see. I think the setting that they did, like in the original Bloodsport and everything, the setting is excellent. You know,
yeah.
they set everything up very well. All the actors do a great job and everything. Even if Van Damme was pretty green back then, he's you know
Mm,
he obviously in more recent years he has shown that he is a much more capable actor than people have given him credit for. But uh personally, like the thing that bugs me the most about the original Bloodsport is the fights. You know,
yeah.
we obviously, you know, people that are into these films like you, like much like you and myself, you
Hmm.
know, you know, we know good fight scenes, we know bad fight scenes, we know there are like a lot of different kinds, and that's kind of like what irks me the most about the original was just I feel like I feel like the fight scenes could have been filmed better than what they were. There's a lot of slow mo, and the choreography is generic in many scenes. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, I like there to I like there to actually, be more versatility in the actual like martial arts, the different martial arts styles, everything like that.
Yeah.
I like more sharp choreography, better cinematography, not so much slow mo.
Hmm.
You could put on the you could put on the fight scene like on YouTube between Van Damme and Bolo, and then you could speed that video up to double speed. It's still too slow. So it's so yeah, I would definitely like something that's got sharper cinematography and maybe some more faster fight choreography.
Yeah, well, that was the thing in the 80s, wasn't it? It was slow mo on everything.
Mhm.
Whereas now it's a lot faster. But yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see what they can do with it, and yeah, it would be cool. Do you know where it's actually supposed to take place in Hong Kong, the Kumite in the film? 'Cause I saw something and I was like, "Oh, does it?" I
Yep,
thought I never cottoned on. They
yeah,
said it was Kowloon Walled City.
yep. The Walled City. That was, yeah. Bloodsport was one of the last films that they where they actually filmed real footage in the Walled City before it was torn down a few years after that.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, it's actually a very interesting little piece of trivia right there.
Well, I hope they kept the set from Twilight the Warriors 'cause we can use that then.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was brilliant. They could definitely reuse that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or if they just wanted to, or if they just wanted to put it somewhere else. I don't think it would work though. I think they should definitely, if they were going to remake it, definitely keep it in the walled city or something like that.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be good. Okay, any final words before we sign off?
Subscribe, like we always say.
Yeah, definitely subscribe to Caleb's channel. He's got a fantastic channel over there. There's loads of good reviews, unboxings. Do you still have the Heroic Bloodshed Corner, or have you capped that for time being?
No, I haven't done that in a while, and I haven't even like made any videos on that. I kind of put that on the back burner because I just had some other ideas come up,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
hero bloodshed films have just kind of like that genre has just kind of dropped a little lower
okay.
on my ladder. Not to say that it's like a bad genre. It's just that I've become a little more interested in like other
Yeah,
genres. So
but
yeah,
that's cool. You
it's kind of
still
taking a
got
backseat.
you still got that content there, so people can come and enjoy
Yeah.
it. Caleb also has a now dormant podcast, which is How You Begun Life. And that is a
Mhm.
really good podcast. It took for me to do a podcast myself to realize about all the hard work that Caleb put into that. Caleb and Co, your lovely wife
Mhm.
and your friend as well. So that is a high recommendation for people. So, please go, if you haven't listened to that, go and listen to some episodes of that. You'll enjoy it. You'll love it. It get you through your work day like it did me. And yeah, subscribe to Caleb's YouTube. If you haven't seen me yet and you're on my channel, that's going to be weird. But if you are a new visitor, please do subscribe. We love having you guys here. We like making new friends. We have our group that Caleb and I are a big part of on Facebook, which is the Asian Cinema Circle, the ACC for short. So if you submit a request, we'll let you in, providing that you decent to everybody. That's all we ask, that everybody is nice to everybody, doesn't start any unnecessary arguments. We won't brook any nonsense like that. But if you want a good time and you want to meet other people, there's so many people with podcast channels. We've got designers in there. There's a whole wealth of people in there. So please come on and join in a bit of fun. Um, there are many other channels in the ACC that me and Caleb often stream with. So have a look at those. I have a playlist, which is the Asian Cinema Circle. So you can have a look on that, and you've got an assortment of everybody's different videos as well as our own. I think that's all I have to say. If you watched it, thank you very much. If you enjoyed it, please give us one of those. And we'll catch everybody on the next one when we'll come back with something different. Have you got ideas, Caleb?
Not at the moment. I actually don't. I mean, maybe hopefully you come up with something before I do because I'm kind of stumped on what to do next. So I'm not really sure yet.
Me too. So, okay, here we go,
Yeah,
guys. Throw it out to us. Give us a film that
yeah.
you'd
Give
like
it
us to
something.
recast. Give us something. First one up with a good one that we can feasibly do. We'll do it.
Yeah,
And
preferably something with a really big cast, because you
mm,
don't we don't want to just recast, like we don't just want to recast Police Story, because
yeah,
there aren't a lot of characters to choose from right there, other than Jackie, of course, and Maggie Chung's character and all that. So maybe something with a like a big ensemble cast.
yeah. And don't be witty and pick out something like Sex and Zen because that's going to be really uncomfortable for us. Okay.
Oh no, yeah, I don't do that.
All right, that's it then. I have been Leon, Hong Kong and Beyond, and Caleb has been Caleb from Caleb Kung Fu Cinema, and we'll see you guys on the next one.